Hi, welcome to this episode with me, James Walters. So this is part 2 of our mini-series on conscious buying decisions. Last time we went through an introduction to the mini-series. This time we're looking at buying healthy meals gives us the power to improve climate change, which is also part of our series on eating sustainably. Before we get started, it's worth saying that this mini-series is based on the Kiss the Ground purchasing guide, and many of the facts come from the book called Drawdown. Drawdown by Paul Hawken is the most comprehensive plan ever proposed to reverse global warming. Take a look in the description for links to Kiss the Ground, Drawdown by Paul Hawken, as well as links to a selection of other books on the topic of diet, food, farming, and soil to help improve our health and planet. Food produced using regenerative agriculture has a lot of benefits. 1, tastier food that can make us healthier. 2, cleaner air and water. 3, sucking carbon out of the air and storing it in the ground. And 4, improve the health of our planet to ensure our children have a good future. But what is regenerative agriculture? Well, regenerative agriculture is a way of farming that gives back more than it takes out. Number 1, it increases biodiversity. Number 2, enriches soils. Number 3, improves the land's ability to absorb water and feed rivers and streams. 4, enhances ecosystems. 5, it captures carbon in the soil and plants. And 6, reverses the amount of carbon dioxide, CO2, in our atmosphere. You can think of regenerative agriculture as having all the benefits of organic farming without the use of artificial fertilizers and toxic chemicals, plus farming practices that improve the land and environment every year. If you want a deep dive into regenerative farming and healthy meals, you can check out our page on regenerative agriculture at naffordjunction.co.uk/grow. Buying healthy meals that have been produced using regenerative organic agriculture is where we have all the power to vote with our money by eating food that improves our health and encourages farmers, businesses, and governments to transition from conventional to regenerative agriculture. If we buy organic foods, we'll encourage more farmers to switch to regenerative practices. By encouraging more farmers to switch to regenerative, we'll help to lower the cost of organic foods, making healthy meals accessible to as many people as possible. There are 2 main ways to think about eating healthy meals for the climate. First, number 1, reducing carbon and greenhouse gases. This is called mitigation. Things to consider. Is the food produced in a way that releases carbon from the soil? How much nitrogen from artificial fertilizers is lost to the atmosphere? Was the farmland originally forest? How much energy was used? Pumping water, producing fertilizers, tractors and farm machinery, production of food, packaging. Has the food traveled a long way before getting to your home? Agriculture and land use changes are responsible for almost a quarter of global greenhouse gas emissions, primarily from deforestation, irresponsible livestock management, soil degradation, and synthetic fertilizers. When you also consider greenhouse gas emissions caused by the distribution and refrigeration of food, the system becomes one of the largest contributors to global warming. The widespread use of conventional farming practices is damaging soil ecosystems, reducing biodiversity, and heating up the planet. However, we all have the power to change this by switching to regenerative organic food and regenerative farming practices that restore ecosystems and rebuild soils. By stopping deforestation, integrating soil health principles into crop and livestock management, and creating localized food systems, we can decrease our non-renewable energy needs, regenerate the Earth's arable land, and sequester carbon in the soil and plants to help reverse global warming. And the second way to think about it, number 2, is removing carbon from the atmosphere and storing it in the soil and plants, called sequestration or carbon drawdown. Things to consider here. Was your food produced in a way that captures carbon in the soil and plants? Does the farm that grows your food increase biodiversity, water holding in the soil, and cycling nutrients from the soil to the plants and back to the soil? What I found most inspiring about food and regenerative farming is that this is an area where people can get more and better food at the same time as giving back and improving the planet. It's a win-win like no other. We don't need to use more and more toxic chemicals that are being proven to be bad for our health and a trigger for chronic disease. To get the lowdown on conventional food, toxic chemicals, modern lifestyles, the epidemic of chronic diseases, and the benefits of regenerative organic food, check out the Rich Roll interview with Zach Bush. It's absolutely amazing and so inspiring. I'll include a link in the description. The good news, actually, it's one of the reasons I was compelled to leave my job to help inspire others, is that food can be grown in ways that improve the health of the soil, which increases the amount of nutrients and water that's consumed by plants that are eaten by animals and people, as well as taking carbon out of the atmosphere and storing it in plants and the soil. That's basically the process of photosynthesis, nature working together for 500 million plus years to become the abundant and life-giving planet that we know today. Plants use energy from the sun to convert carbon dioxide, CO2, and water into oxygen and carbohydrates, sugars. Plants then release some of these sugars into the soil to feed microorganisms. In turn, the microorganisms make otherwise inaccessible nutrients available for the plants. More carbon in the soil equals less carbon in the air. You can read more in the article called Soil Can Reverse Climate Change at naffordjunction.co.uk/blog. Did you know this fact about healthy soil? There are more microbes in a teaspoon of healthy soil than there are people on the planet. That comes from Drawdown by Paul Hawken. So that's 7 billion plus microbes in a single teaspoon of healthy soil. It shows that it's very easy to harm the health of the soil. Instead of working against nature, trying to trick nature with artificial fertilizers and kill pests with toxic chemicals that end up in our bodies affecting our health, we need to get back to working with nature. The way to farm like nature, produce nutrient-dense foods, and give back more than we take is through regenerative agriculture, which we'll take a look at next. That's it for this piece. Next time we'll cover the 6 principles of regenerative agriculture. Making conscious buying decisions is an important part of growing, eating and living sustainably. The Nafford Junction Sustainability Roadmap is about what each of us can do in our day-to-day lives. It's about creating a new lifestyle where it's natural to do everything we can to reduce our consumption and waste and live in a way that considers others. The Sustainability Roadmap won't fix everything. We need governments and businesses to do that. However, changing government policies and business practices can be influenced by our actions. This roadmap is about doing things where we have the power, things that can encourage and eventually force governments and businesses to change. We can do something now and be part of hitting the next milestone in the climate crisis, which is to halve global emissions by 2030. Here's what you can do. Use this mini-series to help you buy products that help people and planet. Try the Sustainability Roadmap with 40 plus solutions to climate change at naffordjunction.co.uk/roadmap. Use the company directory to help you grow, eat and live sustainably at naffordjunction.co.uk/directory. Be inspired. Know that we can reverse climate change if we do something about it. Talk to your friends and colleagues. Share this with others. Links to everything I mentioned, as well as sources used to create this piece, can be found in the description or in the article titled Buying Healthy Meals Gives Us the Power to Improve Climate Change at naffordjunction.co.uk/blog. Keep listening to this episode for more ways that you can help stop climate change. Where next? There's so much inspiring information to give you ideas of how to help climate change by growing, eating and living sustainably. You can go to naffordjunction.co.uk, read our articles, subscribe to our podcast, sign up to our free email newsletter, join the #VoteWithOurMoney campaign, work through the sustainability roadmap, find companies to help you grow, eat and live sustainably. Follow Nafford Junction on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. Help us inspire others. If you're passionate about helping climate change, please consider supporting Nafford Junction. You can become a patron to give regular contributions. Buy me a coffee to make a one-off contribution. Create for us and publish thought-provoking content. Become an inspiring leader and advertise with us. Go to naffordjunction.co.uk/support. This was produced by me, James Walters, as a personal project to help stop climate change by inspiring others to grow, eat and live sustainably. Any advice given is the opinion of those involved and does not constitute medical, financial or legal advice. We may include links we think you will find useful. If you buy through those links, we may earn a small commission. It's one way to support our work and to inspire as many people as possible. Thanks for listening. Come back soon. Bye-bye.